parents have always favored my golden child brother and hated me for starting a business. Now, their new venture has crumbled and all of their money is gone. I'm a 33-year-old male and have been in a great place in life. I graduated college, got a great job, and lived comfortably. There's nothing out of the ordinary about me. However, my family has always hated me and favored my older brother. My brother is 4 years older than me. I've never understood why they'd overlook me, especially since there was a 7-year gap between my brother and my sister. It wasn't just the firstborns getting extra love. I've also never comprehended their affection for him. He was lazy, took no interest in school, ticked every box for narcissism, and was addicted to pain medication or Adderall. I'm not even sure which one it was anymore. His ex-girlfriend stole money from my parents to support his habit, and they still won't speak to her. My sister is non-binary, has a good job in finance, and moved to another state when she was 20. I don't see my family these days, and we haven't spoken much since Christmas, which was 8 months ago. I went home for the holidays, but as always, I was incredibly uncomfortable the entire time. Right when my brother, who is 37, stepped through the door, my parents were already showering him with gifts. I felt a little bitter about this at first because my sister and I never received a single gift for his birthday. He got everything from the day he was born until age 36. I hate him because he draws people towards him, and he has all 5 of my parents' love languages. He is very charming and charismatic in his own way. The only thing I can say I could do better than him is intelligence. I had won a couple of national competitions in high school, graduated college with honors, and then went to a good graduate program. My brother not only failed grade 12 but also dropped out at 16, got his GED, and was kicked out of community college after 2 semesters. He got a job where he barely made $30,000 and spent all his time doing drugs, dedicating 0 time to learning or developing any skills. I lead an extremely normal life. I work at a company that will look great on my resume one day. I could easily make more than my father does. I am just about clear of debt, partially thanks to my parents helping my older siblings when they took on far more debt than they should have. That's one thing they aren't wrong about. Maybe I don't need so much help. I haven't required much assistance over the past few years. About 2.5 years ago, I decided I wanted to start my own company. I conducted market research at my job, gauging interest levels in my area for a year, and built a solid plan. Once it looked good, I brought in an SEC agent to help with the legal aspects of building my company according to government standards. He essentially drew up the blueprints, which I had to fund. Fundraising was a pain in the ass. My company is a non-profit, and no one cares about giving you money for a non-profit and restoring their taxes when there's a for-profit venture that would pad the bank accounts. It took me almost a year to find local investors for seed funding. It was a massive hurdle to overcome in the fundraising sector of business. Finally, I got the business founded, and I was ecstatic about it. I poured in blood, sweat, and tears to make it work, and I continue to put in a lot of effort to ensure it thrives. During all of this, my family claimed I was being stupid, that no one needed another nonprofit begging for money, that I was wasting my time and egotistically throwing myself a party every month because I loved saying I was starting a business. My brother started talking businesses when I did. He created neat little PowerPoint slideshows that had maybe 5 slides of half information on them and tried to impress everyone with them. He said for his birthday he would host a business forum with a bunch of attendees so we could all showcase our businesses. He lied about having connections to many people in my state to get this planned. He eventually admitted he was just talking out of his ass when I started looking into it. My project, for lack of a better name, is Z Lab. It is a free nonprofit that allows kids to try on various items in their demographics. Parents are given a list of items such as lockers, shoes, apparel, personal care items, and health supplies, which they can vote to purchase for the store. It is available in more than 10 states. I don't have a spouse, kids, or anything, and I invest almost all my spare money into my company. I had to delay many things to get it open. I can't provide you with specific numbers, but we always have enough funds to get us through a 3-month period, so we don't have to cut anyone. It has been open for a year this month, and we are still running strong. My brother, however, is grounds for a true crime documentary in America at 37. 2 to 3 years ago, my brother started a Little Caesars franchise, which is a regrettable decision. 2 years ago, his gambling addiction, which he didn't used to have, worsened when he began spending all the money he made from that to try to fix his debts. I'm guessing he accumulated casino debt because he wouldn't be foolish enough to run up credit card limits. He has never had a good relationship with banks. Well, he somehow ended up with not only one but 3 Little Caesars franchises. He mostly bragged about this to flex on me, whether I was truly interested or not. I flexed back and said, "Hey, Z-Lab is actually doing well. We're open and thriving after our first year." When he brought up his franchises, yeah, they only used cheap frozen ingredients from whatever wholesaler would sell them ingredients to stretch every dollar out of the franchises. Because of money issues, my parents helped him with his first franchise, and now he owes them $73,000, not to mention the franchise debt. He failed to save money and take things slow, like I did for almost 4 years. I lived like a college student long after I graduated to secure the best possible location. It was in a non-existent state, a public research university city, like a state capital with a large public university. He fell right into his debt to the point where my parents, the same ones who wrote off his gambling debts and car title loan debt down to zero, spent over $130,000 loaning him money to save the Little Caesars franchises. 4 months ago, he declared personal bankruptcy and Chapter 7 liquidation of the franchises, which wipes all debt clean. I had no good perspective on the situation besides that they seemed to love giving him money. It's been a couple of months since his bankruptcy. My father called me. He's been unemployed for half a year ever since my mom kicked him out of the house for cheating. He bribed her with her cosmetic surgery fund to take him back, but I guess that money's run out. He blames my brother for messing him over. While I'm not happy that it's his fault, I'm genuinely ecstatic to finally be considered the wise one who doesn't need my parents' money every time I sneeze, for not needing them and for succeeding when my siblings have failed. While I'm still not super happy with my dad, I think better him than me, right? He's been an overall jerk to me, even going as far as shoving me down the stairs when I was 15. The only way I see myself helping them out is by gifting or throwing money at my father to help him host a job hunt party. I've been advised not to bother because if he kept my mom around with bribes and monetary gifts, he might be back in her good graces within weeks. Why would he throw himself a party to get his foot in the door for jobs he didn't earn when he already threw a failed party to make amends? I've been in this great place where my psyche just doesn't care. That money was for Z-Lab, and we are fine. My life is great and chill without any unnecessary additional family drama. I don't understand why I should bother every time we paid for something an older sibling needed or help them out financially. Our parents wouldn't even take us out for dinner. For the past 3 years, Z-Lab has been the best psychological icing on the cake. He thought he could walk in and take so many supplies from me. He is not welcome because one of his kids with his new girlfriend is a girl who threw a huge tantrum and scratched my body to ribbons, leaving permanent scratches on my face. She wanted to try on some wigs that were foundational wellness supplies, but her mother refused to give any consideration to my wishes, insisting she wanted to wear them immediately. I firmly said no. I had to repeatedly assert myself with her until my fingers were about 10 times through the wigs she was trying to grab. The integrity of my sanity around the damaged wigs was more valuable than her desire for new hair. She spazzed out, scratched me, drew blood, and attempted to take a wig worth the cost of 6 furry rats. Those wigs were supposed to be tried on and taken off like musical instruments to determine which ones empowered her self-image the most. I told her, no, there's a whole storage back there. She is 4 years old and shouldn't even have a false sense of gender identity at that age. I don't know the details, but her younger sister seems to be having a much easier time. Nyla is most likely just spoiled. What I do know is that she was assigned female at birth, but has a very malformed fake vulva. I'm getting tired of explaining who these people are, so to sum it up, that scratch attack happened a long time ago, and everyone in that family is banned from entering my space, even the baby, if she could somehow behave. My brother texted me last week to place a large order for wigs, clothes, or whatever since Decabird was injured and Goldilocks couldn't travel with her children. I replied, "You know they are forbidden there. Don't talk to me, I don't care about your needs because our pasts are your faults." I believe it was something along the lines of, "I see you learned nothing. F off." My sister only owes me a signed gift copy of a very niche 1960s-1970s book about feminism and witchcraft since she lost her entire library due to a pipe bursting in her home and received no insurance money. That's all she wanted from me after Dara exploded financially 1 month prior. I was happy about Dara's financial success, but I still wasn't comfortable talking to my sister. She was reaching out for something, perhaps her Hogwarts non-binary book set, but I can't engage with her because I can't even pinpoint why. I don't feel the warmth or happiness I used to feel when I encountered her. Unlike with another friend who had avoided debt, I was in a good place before, and then I got fired from my job. I wasn't even that bummed about it because my 5-fold NC plan has about 4 work-in-progress projects in it. One of the projects involves designing tops and bottoms for family wear, especially for guys. The top designs could probably earn me a couple of dollars if I consider designing family clothing or quirky graphic t-shirts. Anyway, I received a call from Jessica, my previous boss, and she broke the news to me that the company is closing our office for X reason. We desperately needed communication and methods in place to reroute operations. The press release went out stating that we would continue business as usual before they informed us we were being shut down. We were localized for a reason, and I'm guessing that the privatized nonprofit I work for is stealing paying business from the parent company. To be honest, I don't know what to do. My phone is eerily silent, my siblings are absent. Anyone who wants to talk to me seems to be having a difficult time. I'm in the running for 3 new stable jobs and 1 old job that is scheduling me. I'll be fine, especially if I land this job where the focus is on kale and self-gratification. There's money in that. However, you, my friend, should read this. Do what must be done. Eat, rest, recharge. Change the world, it's your oyster, big boy. As for me, if you need any more information, I've experienced 4 major life events since April that have been very tumultuous. If I read correctly, I'm 77 years old. I need to stop watching or engaging and just take a break. I was angry about the news for 7 hours and then realized why be super angry over nothing. Money was getting reconstructed the day the call ended. I still have work in 72 hours. That person was going to show me how to file for unemployment. Don't just crawl your way to another job, do it smart. He can't file that claim since he wasn't employed when that call happened. But he has unrelated disabilities to mine. I have to cast a very harsh kindness spell on him, and now he wants to do graphic design on the side for money. His portfolio contained over 48 hours of work that he didn't get agreement or consent for, but I need to sleep. I'm getting advice on what path would be best to take. Why do I want to take a path on you? I want to map out what's best for me. Did I misread someone as having issues with college-level credits? Why, all have a good evening. The sound of uproarious laughter echoed through the once quiet family room. The eldest son, possessing an uncanny ability to captivate everyone in the room, spun tales of his latest exploits, exaggerated, of course, but every ear was attentive to him. To his left, the father leaned back into the couch, a contented smile plastered on his face. Beside him, the mother, glass of wine in hand, leaned in, lost in the gales of merriment emanating from him. The second son's lackluster job as a management accountant felt less like a respectable career path and more like an echo lost in an empty room. Each day brought a barrage of complaints from the dad about the eldest child's reckless gambling, and the mom complained about credit card bills they kept paying off without question, all while they bought themselves AirPods, new clothes, and plastic furniture. His loving sister, a sister in name only, was busy, buried beneath her many responsibilities, in a city far away, making a life for herself. Underneath it all was resentment bubbling away. Just as he began questioning why he kept showing up to these events, questions that remained unanswered, he wondered if it was some distorted belief that they would someday appreciate his presence. Was his patience the stuff of legends? He felt like a carnival barker, an illusionist commanding the crowd's attention with promises of the next great reveal while hiding the emptiness behind the curtains. He had even tried to match his brother's charisma. He found himself writing half-finished roasts and wandering about with them. But the dad had a way of dampening even those flames with casual throwaway comments in another conversation, useless roasts in his case. "Are you back here again?" the dad had said during those virtually unbroken 12 months. Then someone else, who they hadn't given a dime to his daughter, in this case wanted to host a business party gathering, needing charitable donations as an entry fee. Something latched onto him, and click, the truth swept in like a tidal wave, crashing upon him and making everything else look inconsequential. That hypnotic attention he once yearned for wasn't confusion or complexity or the intricacies of relationships he missed, it was their puppeteering strings being pulled with great skill. But what he saw clearly now was that everyone in this room suffered from the same twisted illusion. Their golden boy, their prodigal son, was merely an illusion, nothing but an artificial star. The tides had turned. The brilliant finish on the props had dulled. The curtains hung in tatters, exposing not a master illusionist but a man struggling to keep his life from falling apart. Illusionist Donald had bankrupted his franchise businesses and gambled everything else away. It registered that he never liked me, never talked to me, never wanted to hang out. I felt like an electric surfboard, just something for someone else to talk to him about. He mimicked the eldest sibling with the others because I had to try twice as hard to have half the value. He only wanted to spend time with me once, always pushing for weekends together. There was so much I wanted to tell him, especially when he claimed he loved me but never displayed a single atom of that love, except by bringing up another sibling with 3 kids to a thunderstorm irrational conclusion over me having 1 rat. He said my having a rat was trivial compared to bleeding grandma and the escalating arguments amongst fully grown people. I recall my brother sprinting from an empty bedroom with grandma before I even entered, claiming he had to care for the kids. "Are your kids nuclear chemical waste?" I thought. He looked at me with an empty stare that conveyed anything I tried to say was beneath him and not worth his time. And then, there were lots of Disney and other pricey events for his 3 kids, all charged to my account. It'd be the quietest weekends. That was punctuated with something like, "Let's make a tax donation that's tax deductible." He'd say something like, "True 5 CLR" on his social media posts. He never discussed his gambling addiction or his failing businesses that ruined them. What fun! My other siblings, my brother and sister, not so golden, and an abandoned wife for someone who was involved with 3 of her friends over a long stretch of time. Someone had been living in my room without my consent for half a year or so. I adopted my corgi Miles because of that. The questions, the turmoil, and the doubt felt overwhelming, and I had the nagging feeling some mannequin of me had replaced the reality of my existence in that house. He wanted to abruptly take over. I had a bearded dragon named Drogo and Miles now. I yelled at him to get the hell out. My pain-medicated sister stole all my cannabis butter from the fridge and my flask-infused coconut oil. I started having panic attacks because I thought I was having an episode and was living with someone who I couldn't tell if I was imagining or not. I recall the second sister having a miscarriage over Christmas, so she couldn't have a gender reveal or funnel in any child gender discussion during the holidays. She lost that brief burst of joy. I've always hated balloons in my presence, and so did just about everyone else in that room. But the oldest sibling was at the razor-thin edge of a balloon, and he suddenly grabbed it with wild eyes like he had consumed a quick amphetamine and stabbed the balloon. He dashed through the house, popping every last balloon related to what you wanted and why, smiling wildly while celebrating the overturn of yet another balloon. He knocked on my mind for weeks, and I refrained from making cringeworthy meme posts of randomness. They're no longer there. If gold stripes somehow contain money, it should be in Miles's Weary from Petland. Miles is alive and rather rotund. Did I gently rob him of his nutrition? Maybe. Not just gateway cannabis, but you are welcome to share your existence, little pit. He's quiet and can coexist with Miles, weighing between 100 to 130 pounds depending on the pooping situation. Miles is a gentle spirit. Billy and I realized together about corn dogs that removed the skin from our skulls with wonder when we tried sweet potato ones. Now, the Golden Goose King sees all 4 of us around 4 to 5 times a year, and whenever he asks about us, he uses proper alphanumeric English letters. He watched me bang my head against the wall at my second job, where I work for only 2 to 3 hours twice a week, cloning pet rats to senselessly benzo or suffocate library quiet with the silence the pandemic developed. He casually chilled with me while I played Trover and a Bird remake, starting to repeat myself. I'm going to pass out soon. An older half-sibling recently found out her dad died. My sister gave her condolences, mentioning, "Pretty women were never good." I crashed into a day fueled by blunt-clawed chainsaw-wielding ADHD antidepressants only to get the pills repaired. By Thursday, I was Google searching obsessively about how to do the state taxes before I throw them into the pit of what big bucks I should do with it all. I do remember the other half-sibling being gaslit by her evil mother, indoctrinating her never to acknowledge her dad's name for the rest of her life. There was a mediocre attempt to gaslight me into remembering my dead name, somehow needing it. And as for the balloons with children, almost all my friends have kids years older than Billy, and they share what their kids wear. It's pretty damn frugally respectable.